Yo, 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 it's me, Jason, and we are going to talk today about how to find a library academic journal article from the library. So you can see my screen right up in here, and in your assignments tab for the online work week, the second day, Thursday, you have a paper due, and that paper is going to be about lone wolf terrorism. So let's take a look at that paper real quick. So I want you to write a paper about lone wolf terrorism. Now you're asking me, well, what am I supposed to write about? I don't care. As long as it has something to do with lone wolf terrorism, I'm cool with it. You can talk about how to prosecute it. You can talk about how to identify it. You can talk about how to prevent it. You can talk about the psychological impacts or the psychological maladies of a lone wolf terrorist. You can talk about the motivations or whatever you want to talk about. As long as it has something to do with lone wolf terrorism, I'm good. And the instructions here say use an academic journal or professional association article to write your papers. You only need one article, okay? You only need one. You can get it from either this kind of place or this kind of place, but you only need one, okay? Now, just like you can't feed 10 people with one fish, the article you pick has got to be big enough so you can actually write something. Okay, it's got to have some content. So you want to have a minimum of 3,000 words. Okay, I usually say 3 to 10,000. That's up to you, but a minimum of 3. Okay, anything shorter than that, it's just not going to have enough about the topic for you to write about. So you're just going to end up getting an F or redoing it. So don't waste your time with a small article. Okay. Topic is lone wolf terrorists, as we've discussed. Paper must be some sort of research study on the topic, but you can use any one you're interested in, any paper or research that you're interested in. As far as this, as long as it has something to do with lone wolf, I'm good. You don't have to specifically focus to this research study. I'm finding that's a little bit difficult. So just make sure it has something to do with the lone wolf terrorists. Okay? Then you have your instructions. So the first part of your paper, the first couple of paragraphs or so, is going to be this information. You're literally going to write the paper I use for this, the article I use for this paper is called How to Find a Lone Wolf Terrorist. It was written by Jason Peinich, and it was published in the Journal of Criminal Justice. Okay, this paper is a persuasion paper urging readers to take off security controls out of their emails and social media pages, so the government can look into what we're emailing and what we're looking at, and find lone wolf terrorists. Okay? That would be sort of like the introductory paragraph. Then you're going to summarize the paper, just like you're telling a friend of yours about going to the movie. You're going to say this paper was about this, and here's what they said, and this was a couple of the cool parts about the paper. And then you're going to talk about how does it end. Okay? The conclusion. They wrapped it up by saying this. In the end, they recommended we do these following things. The article concluded by saying, whatever it is. Okay? If it was a research project, if you lucked out and found some research project, put the research questions in there, who they've studied, like maybe they only studied Islamic terrorists, or maybe they only studied American terrorists or whatever. You can put that extra information in there. Okay? But again, you don't have to stick to a research design, so you may or may not answer those questions, is my point. Okay. Second part, identify 3 things you learned or discovered from reading the article. Notice the word here, and. That means this is a 2-part question. The things you learned and how each benefits you in your career. Which means you are going to say, the first thing I learned by reading this article is whatever you learned. Okay. Sometimes it's a big thing. Sometimes it's a little thing. The how each benefits me in your career. You're going to write, the way this thing that I just learned benefits me or will benefit me in the future is this. Okay, it makes me a more informed police officer. It reminds me to look, at a certain group or certain population. It reminds me to collect certain kind of evidence as a police officer, whatever. So you're going to do this 3 times. So you're going to have one learning and a benefit, another learning and a benefit, a third learning and a benefit. So it's going to be 3 of each. Down here, develop 3 questions you would ask the author if they were in class today, and, notice the and, explain why you asked that question. So you might say, just pretend the guy is standing there in front of you, and you might say something like, I read your paper and I noticed that you only looked at lone wolf terrorists who do their dirty deeds with guns. Do lone wolf terrorists always use guns, or are there some other kind of ways that they conduct their terror? Question mark. The reason I'm asking you this question, this is the explain part, the reason I'm asking you this question is because in other parts of the world, guns are illegal or banned, and I'm wondering if they use knives or swords or axes or how they do their lone wolf terrorism over there. Okay, so say, it can be whatever, but make sure you say the question and why you're asking that question. What is it about that question that you don't like, or how does it not fit into your worldview? Anything like that. You're going to do that 3 times. So you're going to ask a question, tell why. Ask another question, tell why. Ask a third question, tell why. Part 4, explain the 2 ways you might further or advance this research. Okay, so the article that you're reading, how might you broaden it, make it bigger, take it further, expand it? Don't tell me about a whole nother research project. Tell me about how you would clean up, advance, expand, make bigger the one you're reading now. I want to know 2 ideas for that. So if they only looked at white guys, maybe you might say, I would look at white and black guys or other races. If they only looked at America, you might say, I would expand this research by looking at other continents or other countries or other police forces, right? That would expand the research. 2 things there. Last part, connect the information from the article back to class in 5 ways, okay? That's going to be a little bit of a creative process for you. Sometimes you get lucky and it connects back really bright lines. So the article will say something and you'll say, in chapter 3, it said exactly the same thing over here. Boom, boom. There's a connection. Other times, you're going to have to read between the lines. You know, your article talked about whatever, motivations for going and doing terror. And in chapter 3, we learned about crime theory and some of the reasons that people go do crime. And some of these motivations are reflected in those crime theories from chapter 3. Okay, so sometimes it's bright line connections, other time not. Grammar and editing, make sure your paper is professionally written. I do not want a bunch of typos and misspelled words, etc., etc. You need a title page, a reference page. You got to have at least 3 pages to your paper. Make sure it is substantive. Okay, put some meat in it. Double spaced, 12-page font, 1-inch margins, all the standard formatting rules there. Okay, so this is the instruction. Now let's talk about how to get an article. Pop over here to the library tab. Click it. That's going to take you to the college library. In the college library, they have these things called databases. Database is like a library in a library. So it's right here. Click it. When you open up your databases, or when you get your databases, you'll see we have some general databases, okay, like Academic OneFile. You probably use this in high school. And then we also have some criminal justice specific databases. Okay, so I'm just going to look at the Academic OneFile real quick because this is the one most people use, but you are welcome to use any one you want to. Okay, you're going to click it. Once you click it, it should open up the database search page, as you can see right here, and you are going to just put in some search words. Okay, so we'll just put in lone wolf terrorists. Okay, and we are going to hit search. Go, man. All right, notice over here we got 75 journals, all kinds of magazines, newspapers, books, videos. You can't use any of this. Academic journals is where we stay focused. You're going to need to read it, which means you need full text. Okay, click this button. Boom, full text. You notice that goes from 75 to 64. What are we doing? We're making searching easy. We're not working hard, we're working smart. Okay, we're looking at publication dates. Well, you don't want stuff that's really old, okay, because nobody likes to read stuff that's 20 years old. So we're going to customize the date range and make it simple. You are going to go February, and let's go back to 2010. Okay, so February 1st, 2010 to February 1st, 2019. Okay, let's see what happens. We go from 75 to 64, now we're down to 55. Okay, now if you want to, you can pare this down even further by putting in another term here. So you might, maybe you just want to do like Islamic and see what happens. Okay, let's try it and see what happens. We go from 25 to 48, so you are going to continue to focus down, or 28 rather. All right. The other thing you can do is look here at subjects. Okay, and if you expand this list, there's all kinds of different stuff related to terrorism. Okay, so you could maybe just pick one of these, and you know, that's a lot of singles in there, so it's kind of poking hope, but it might speed up your search a little bit. Okay, the next thing you're going to want to do is look at the title, and you're going to look at the article length. Okay, if the title sounds juicy and interesting and fun to you, that's awesome. If it sounds boring, don't read it, because you're just going to hate it. And the word count, if it's too short, no sense in looking at it. Okay, so commentary, Understanding Psychology of Lone Wolf Terrorism. Cool title, article's too short, no good. The Importance of Establishing New Counterterrorism Unit at a Local Level. Perspectives in Policing. Oh, okay, great. Juicy title, 7,000 words, beautiful. Just click save. You just want to save these. Okay, we're going to go back through in a minute. I'll show you how to do that in a minute. Terrorism in Cyberspace, Next Generation, sounds cool, way too short, 823. Liberal Terror, okay, 953, no good there. Letter from the Editor, sounds boring. A Question of Triumph, Measuring Success of Intelligence Against Terrorism. Sounds pretty cool. 7,000 words, pretty cool. Save it. The Author Replies, sounds boring, not even going to look at it. Packaging Inspiration, Al-Qaeda's digital magazine, Inspire, very cool. This is a very interesting magazine to read, actually. 8,000 words, that fits. Take it. Big Data, Air Force Intelligence and Information. Okay, I don't know what that's about, but I'm going to save it anyway because it sounds okay and it's big enough. Iran and the Military Option, too short. Assessing Terrorist Risks. Developing an Algorithm. Yes, I love it. Save. Okay, and you can see as I'm doing, I'm just going to go through very quickly, save what sounds good and is the right size, give everything else away. When you're done going through and saving, what you're going to do, come up here to the top, move to the right, see where it says More? Sure you do, because it's on video. Click More, click My Folder. Everything you save now is in this folder, so we're just peeling an onion here. We're going from broad to narrow. Okay, so the ones you click Save on are right here. Now your job is to jump in here, pick the one that sounds the most juicy to you, and read the first paragraph. Okay, so you jump in here, and you read the abstract. Okay, and you just ask yourself, does this sound cool to me? Is this what I thought it was, or is this something different? If it sounds cool, this is your article. You're done. If it doesn't, back out, back to the folder, right? Go back to More, right? Go back to your folder. And if you want to, you can get rid of this article. And now you're down to 4. And then you do it again. And then you do it again. Okay? Until you find the article you want to use. Let's pretend for a minute you jumped into this article. You read the first couple of paragraphs and you go, bam, this is awesome. I love it. This is for me. Guess what? Go over here to Citation. You can send it to yourself, email it to yourself, whatever, print it, whatever you want to do. Citation Tools. Click it. Guess what? Here's a citation. You can use MLA. You can do APA, okay? You can do Chicago, whatever. I like APA. That's what we use in criminal justice. Use this, APA. You are going to copy, go to a Word document, paste it. That's your reference page. Done. Work smart, not hard. You can't. That's 100% right there. You're going to get all the points for that. That's how you do it. Don't work hard. Work smart. Okay, if you need to, for whatever reason, you want to download this, you can do that too, but it's just as easy to copy and paste it, okay? All right, that's how you find an article. For practitioner sources, you can look at the FBI Law Enforcement Bulletin, or you can look at the Police Research Foundation. I didn't open a thing for the FBI Bulletin, but here's I said the police research. It's National Police Foundation. Okay, if you look here under publications and resources, they got a bunch of stuff in here. This is a very cool website with a lot of great information on it. So I suggest you check this out as well. So you can either use the academic databases or the FBI Law Enforcement Bulletin, which is mostly short articles and you may not have a lot of luck, or the National Police Foundation to find your article. Okay? That's where you get them from. Good luck. Have a great week.